we're dealing with two separate issues. We'll move into the new business public discussion. Do you want to address the
current issue of Plat 6?
Okay, sir. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Stephen Strawn, and I live at 10640 Southeast 26th Street, Midwest City, which is in Turtlewood. What we're here for basically tonight is to request you to hold off on approving Plat 6 until some of the issues with the previous development are resolved. If you approve Plat 6, one of the problems is any kind of bargaining position or anything like that we have with home creations is essentially gone, okay? They can drop the homeowners association on us at any time, and that was in the covenant, whether we signed it, you know, with knowledge or not, that's still in the covenant, and we understand that. But we also need to have some kind of way to get them to look at resolving the other issues without dropping $120,000 of debt and everything that they say exists. And incidentally, they have never shown us any paperwork on any of the accounting for the homeowners association. So where they're saying the debt comes from and so forth, we have no concept, okay? Because that paperwork has not been submitted to any of the homeowners.
So I'm going to make a comment, and I'm not probably going to be the most popular person in the world for either side. The issues are separate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an attorney, but I would go talk to one about suing that guy.
Mm-hmm.
That was me if I was you all's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we need to address just Turtle
You're correct.
Creek, Turtle, whatever.
Plat 6.
Sir, let us address this issue, and we'll call you back in just a minute.
Well, if I can make one more short statement,
Yes, sir.
please.
You
Okay.
bet.
Home Creations has numerous lots still that they can build on. They do not have to have Plat 6 today or, you know, stop, okay? So it's not like this necessarily needs to be approved immediately, at least not from our standpoint.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's all we're requesting is that if we missed the agenda tonight to discuss our problems, it would be nice if we could have the agenda next meeting so that we can discuss it before you approve Plat 6.
Yes, sir.
That's what we're requesting.
Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Is the owner still here, or the developer? Okay. The chair would entertain a motion to once again table this issue.
I'm going to make a motion to approve the issue.
I have a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I have to say that it is with extreme reluctance, but based upon my understanding of our obligations as a city at this time, that I believe we are now obligated to move forward because all of the requirements with regard to 6 that the city has put out has been met. And I do not believe that we as a city are in a proper place to further delay progressing with the approval of Plat 6, or we as a city are looking at facing legal liability. And so with that, I reluctantly second Councilman Reed's motion.
For you, Craig, I turned my button on. I reluctantly made that motion. It wasn't one that I wanted to make, but I think it's the only action that we have.
With that being said, I have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The mayor is opposed. Any abstentions? Ms. City Clerk, go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Ward 1,
Again, reluctantly aye.
2, Yes.
Reed,
Yes, ma'am.
Allen,
Yes.
Mayor.
No. With that, the motion does carry. Before we go into public discussion, could I have the developer come forward to the podium, please? Go ahead and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Mo Sharifi. I'm with Home Creations.
Sir, we've been dealing with this issue for 6 months, probably. Obviously, there's some issues. Look behind you. There's a lot of people that have bought homes from your company in good faith. But the council before us have approved these plats in good faith that you would be a good developer and stand up for your product. And there are obviously issues, and you have been very cooperative in addressing the issues that with Plat 6 that have been brought before you. But you also have an obligation to these ladies and gentlemen that are here tonight that have bought homes in good faith to not only bring their homeowners association up to speed, but also take care of the issues that are created by the current conditions. So I would ask of you, just like you did with the other homeowners, that you meet with these homeowners and you get out there and address the issues, because I assure you, I will be against any further plats that you bring before this council as long as I sit in this chair. And I don't care how many times it goes back and forth to the Planning Commission. We've got to address the issues, and we can no longer, we have addressed so many issues, the sins of our fathers, if you will, on drainage issues, that we can no longer do that. And we've got to have you as a developer step up and be a good business person and address these issues before they become issues, if that makes sense.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm going to ask that the enforcement leg of this gets out and takes a look. Tomorrow.
And next week and next
I would
month
say
and the months
tonight.
after.
But the enforcement leg of this gets out there and takes a look at this and makes sure that these items, address these items that have been brought forth by these ladies and gentlemen. And the trash, that aerial that I saw, it needs to be cleaned up. Thank you for your indulgence, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from the city of Midwest City here shortly.
And I would like to say this, that the only reason I voted for this is because you have been cooperating, and tonight you all is something new, this issue that's came about, and he has worked diligently with us with the Plat 6. We did not know anything going on with this other issue. But I believe that Midwest City, when you come up and talk, sir, that there is some options. So we're going to see what we can do. So we'll be looking at some other things. We have not tossed you to the side. We would definitely see what we can do. Okay? And we expect for you to help out also, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mayor and Council Member, and I'll discuss all these issues with our in-house attorneys, which is responsible with all the HOAs, and I'll discuss it with him later on tomorrow, and we'll come up with a solution.
Thank you.
To discuss with the homeowners in Turtlewood Edition.
And just
Thank
so
you.
the people that live over there realize that your councilman's not here tonight because he's on spring break with his kids, but he did call today from Florida, so he cares.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we now move into new business public discussion. Again, with new business public discussion, since it is not an agenda item, we can't actively engage with you in a conversation. But I will tell you that I'm going to ask the staff to bring this forward, this particular issue forward, as an agenda item for next council. And also, I'm sure that a couple of us will be going out there and looking to see if some of these issues are not getting cleared up, and if they're not, we're going to be in a very vigorous discussion with the developer on getting some of these issues. So with that being said, Mark or anybody else that like to come before council and address some issues, please, you're welcome to do so.
And can we address getting a agenda item for these guys in the coming council meetings?
Okay.
Can I make a statement also, just really briefly? For those of you who are in the audience tonight that have an issue with regard to what is happening there, comments made by Councilman Reed earlier with regard to what your legal rights or remedies may be, and his recommendation that you consult with legal counsel is a separate issue and apart from what the city is doing on the enforcement side. So you are not required to pursue our avenue solely, just so that you understand. You still have other ways and means, and whatever your legal rights and remedies are, separate and apart. So you're not obligated to wait till 2 weeks from now, which would be the 27th of March at 7 o'clock, to address these issues, just so that you understand. You're only obligated to wait till March 27th to address them to us to receive a response. But
And they do have legal counsel retained.
very good. Just so we're all sort of on the same page. Sometimes this can be confusing. Again, I know there are a lot of you here, and a lot of you echo the same sentiment. And don't be afraid to separately reach out to your councilman, Mr. Moore. He'll be back hopefully in a week or so. So again.
So go ahead, Mark.
Mark Casson, 2342 Shell Drive. I think you've addressed most of the issues, and I'd just like to, can I give a packet to each
Yes,
one
sir.
of you that
You
has
sure may.
information that will help you?
If you'll hand them to Patrick, he'll get them to us. And
This is, there are letters there from the HOA administrator where he's telling us what the costs are of the HOA, where it says, balance of $30,000 in the negative, that the retaining wall fixes, or to put the retaining wall properly there is at least $100,000, and that the erosion issues to fix that are at least $25,000. So we feel those are low estimates, but to do it right, what we really want is a long-term sustainability. So we don't think that 12 years, I think it's about 12 years that the pond's been there, is long-term sustainability. We're talking, the homes are going to be there 30 plus years. We think that at least hopefully 50 plus years or 100 plus years. But anyway, 12 years is not a long-term sustainability. And so what you see in this packet are pictures of the erosion. You can practically stand in them. They're big gorges, if you will. There's dirt that they're radiating outward because there's no vegetation. The vegetation is dead. There's junk trees growing. There's been no watering on a regular basis to keep the vegetation alive there. So this dirt has eroded away, and it's growing up the hill towards the houses, towards the retaining wall, and the houses that sit on top of the retaining wall. My particular property, which sits on the concrete wall side, so there's a wood retaining wall on the east side and a concrete wall on the west side. is actually, the ground is sinking into the retaining wall because there's a fissure that's down towards the pond area, creeping up towards my house. So it's only a matter of another couple of years that if it's not taken care of and eliminated, that it's going to essentially erode into my property. So, so you already, I've kind of already did this, but you know there that Home Creations advertised that they're Oklahoma's dream builders, right? Well, you know, a lot of us were told that there was going to be walking trails and a fountain around that pond, and we're told that can't happen now. So our dream, the dream builder did not meet our dream. And we were told that at the time we bought the house. The salesperson told us that. Many of us, right? So we were told that by the salespeople in the Turtlewood community, and that they're not meeting that. In fact, on their website, they say, quote, "The community play area and on-site pond help make Turtlewood a fun, family-friendly community," unquote. I'm not sure how the pond in its current state makes it any fun. Certainly not fun for me to be standing in front of you here, you know, to try to explain that we have issues and we would like some help from the city.
Excuse me.
Yes,
sir,
ma'am.
If I could interrupt you for 1 second.
Mark.
Do you have more copies of this?
There were 12 copies. Yeah.
Would you mind sharing copies with these two gentlemen in the front row? Because I have a question in just a minute when.
There's no, we can bring it back as an agenda item next council. We cannot engage in any questions or any further discussion other than what he explains to us.
And for those of you here, Matt can explain it, but we're forbidden by law if it's not on the agenda. It's not that we don't want to discuss it. We legally can't. I think it's one of the dumbest laws that the state's come up with, and we have a lot of dumb laws, but we'll see you in 2 weeks and we can discuss it.
So I guess I'll continue then.
It's called a filibuster.
So as I said, the wood retaining wall is rotting out. The developer has replaced a section already, and there's more about to collapse. That one section, maybe 50 feet of it, essentially, cost the HOA fund $6,000, and we don't even own the HOA yet. It's still
Mark,
the developer's HOA.
Can I ask you a favor?
Yes, sir. You're not asking me a question, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm asking if we can carry this over to 2 weeks from now, because he's gonna say the same things. We're gonna give them a spot to sit. He's got every right to say whatever he wants to say. But in 2 weeks, we will be able to have a back and forth. Other people will be able to participate. You won't have to retread the same ground, and you might even have new pictures that come up in 2 weeks, or new information that comes up that we can better address this situation for everybody.
Okay.
It would be my recommendation. The council can't converse with you about this, they can't respond. You give them handouts.
Sure.
You put it on the agenda, and you can come up and talk, and then they can ask questions, respond, and you get some interaction with them. It has to be on the agenda.
Thank you.
You can't ask questions, she can't ask them questions.
And other questions all of us would like to ask.
Okay. Can I say one more thing then?
Yes, sir.
So that packet I gave you also has, it has all the letters that Zia Munir has given us, you know, stating what his position of, he was trying to transfer over he's the HOA administrator, trying to transfer over the HOA as it seemed like almost as quickly as possible, you know, and forcing the fixes of the erosion in the pond on us, the HOA. So at one time, it even seemed like he was threatening us in one of the letters. So I've kind of addressed that in my letter, my talking points on the top letter, and then you can see in the letters the actual words that he uses. With that, thank you for your time, Mayor and council members. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
In fairness, though, just to clarify, Mr. City Attorney, correct me if I'm wrong, but once we adjourn this meeting, if any of these folks from either side of the coin in the audience wish to converse with any of us in our
Sure.
capacity as
Absolutely.
city council members or you as city attorney, et cetera, they are free to do so, correct?
No, they can address you individually. And I made the offer that, hey, they would come by the city attorney's office and give me some stuff, and we could talk to code enforcement, see what we can do to try to resolve your issues. We'll work with you on that. It's just that this council cannot, discuss it, more than a couple, three at one time. But to me, the best resolution, and that's what I always thought as council, paper it up, get on the agenda, come up here, we can have a back and forth conversation, and they can take action on what you said, they can make a motion, and get it passed. Maybe give us some relief, just if we have,
Okay. Is there a way I can get a copy of what you have agreed to with the developer and to share with the homeowners?
You can have my copy of that.
With that being said, is there any further discussion for the council this evening? Yes, sir.
Fred Knapp, 10660 Turtleback Drive. We bought our house in December of last year, and we did not receive nothing about the HOA, restrictions, bylaws, or anything. And it would have made a great deal of difference about us purchasing this house in Turtlewood. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we are hereby adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here.